Sorry, guys.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 118. Sorry, 115. What am I saying? 115 of the China Show.
What's up, Beijing?
I suppose I got to do that.
我在北京.
Actually, as you all know, we're usually called ADV Podcasts. We've decided we're going to rebrand to the China Show. For those of you who are confused.
Let me make a little explanation about that. Can you put that up there?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It makes a little sense to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
ADV means adventure.
Yes.
And we do adventure motorcycle vlogs, adventure talk show on two wheels. That's our whole thing. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
However, this show, I don't know if you've noticed this, but this specific show, we are not riding motorcycles.
Sure.
And it would make more sense if people were looking for a live show about China current events if it was called The China Show rather than ADV Podcast. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. I put a little tester out there, and the vast majority of people were happy with the change. Yeah. Because it's easier. My favorite comments are the people that said it's easier to share with friends. Be like, oh, do you want to watch a show about China?
Sure,
oh,
the China Show.
The China Show, not ADV Podcast, right?
Yep.
So hope you guys enjoy the new change. If you want to share the show, like it's still going to be ADV Podcast for the time being. But you can still, the link, the actual URL. But the title of the show, everything, the Patreon, all that stuff will be called The China Show.
Cool. Now that we've got that out of the way, we were having some niggles with the chat earlier. Looks like it might have been fixed.
Yeah, I think it's
but
all right.
We're ready to more or less just...
The way to test this is
what?
If I type in hi and you can see it.
I don't have it open.
Oh, also, you have it right there.
Do I? Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. 1 second. Yeah, can see it now. Okay, so we're all good.
Don't worry about it.
All right, guys, perfect. We are ready to roll, so let's saunter right into what's new, where we talk about what's new specifically with regards to China. And for those of you wondering about the drama last week and me getting stuck on the side of the road, we'll get into that in Yamcha. But for now, we're going to talk about what's new. So other than the fact that we've just rebranded ourselves, there's a couple of things that are new in China. Quite a few, actually. Let me fast forward past that.
Yep.
First thing we're going to do is look at this wonderful CCP propaganda over here.
You got to move yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get us out of there so you can see this. So here's a billboard for the armed forces, or the PLAAF.
This is your forte.
The PLAF.
The PLAF.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this new CCP propaganda shows a fighter pilot giving a thumbs up with some fighter planes in the background. Okay? But there's a little issue with this. First of all, I suddenly have a bit of a hankering for pizza.
Why is that?
Because every pizza restaurant ever in America has the Italian colors somewhere in the flag or in the logo or whatever.
At least on the East Coast where we are.
Yeah.
Previously, I would see like in California. You know what they do over there? They make it like California Kitchen, and it's like some sort of like organic ingredients or whatever. But East Coast is just like a sloppy Italian pizza shop. It's always Italian colors.
Yeah. So if you notice, the patch on the pilot's arm is an Italian patch.
Yes.
With the Italian flag. So it's an Italian fighter. What they did to try and like make it Chinese is they photoshopped the Chinese flag somehow over his oxygen tube.
Why'd they not get rid of the Italian one?
Yeah, why didn't they put the Chinese flag over the Italian one?
Like, the photoshopper didn't know.
If you take a look at the planes in the background as well, you'll notice the one closest to us is an F-22. And then you got two F-15 Eagles in the background, which of course are not Chinese planes. They've never had them. I know they try to copy the planes, but they don't have actual copies of the F-22 and the F-15s. So what they're doing is they're doing military propaganda using a foreign military fighter pilot as the picture and foreign planes.
Open, by the way?
Yeah, you don't want to do that while you're flying. Sure.
Pose for a picture. Hey, there's a guy down there. Hey, open it up. We can't see you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the cockpit would just be ripped off.
This is my joke.
Yeah. Anyway, so the whole point of this nonsense is that, again, they're just using other people's stuff because they don't... this is something I don't understand. They can do it.
They can. They're good at Photoshop. Like even the...
No, not even Photoshop.
Oh.
They could make their own photos. They have flying planes.
They have fighter jets.
They have fighter pilots.
Yes.
Why can they not send someone out there with a camera to take a photo of their own fighter pilot? You know? It's so much easier.
So here's the deal.
Well, maybe it's not easier, actually. This is so much easier.
This was in a document for NASA, the Italian guy, for some sort of astronaut training thing.
Okay.
And so NASA featured him. in one of their training documents. They took it out of that. They had the ability in Photoshop to take it out of that and then superimpose it over a training exercise for an American drill.
Correct.
What are you doing?
Well, it's just like when they use Top Gun footage in the news to show that their own training, missile training or whatever, and they used freaking fake missiles from Top Gun blowing up stuff as proof that they did their training.
And a little Chinese lesson for all you guys that are new here, that is called cha bu duo.
Cha bu duo.
Cha bu duo means just half-ass good enough. It's good
well,
enough.
they say cha bu duo ye xin.
Cha bu duo ye xin. That means like, that's good enough.
Almost is also okay. Yeah. That's pretty much how you translate it.
I would translate it like in colloquialism, like it's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the entire thing is. Okay, Diablo Immortal.
Shit game, by the way.
Is that mobile one?
Yeah, it's so shit.
It's like, you don't have phones?
Apparently people hate it. You don't have phones.
That was their thing.
Really?
Yeah, like the Blizzard guys are on stage, and it's a big reveal for the new Diablo game, and you've got all the Diablo hardcore
Were people
fans.
booing it or something?
Yeah, and then they came out, Diablo Immortal is going to be released on Android and iPhone or something, and the audience stood up and said, so what you're saying is it's only going to be on mobile, there isn't a PC one. They're like, what, you don't have a phone? That was the argument. That was the argument, yeah. People weren't happy about that.
Wow.
There are all sorts of memes going on.
Like you shouldn't rebuke the audience that's disappointed.
No. Anyway.
What are you, an idiot?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, the fact of the matter is Diablo Immortal has now been banned in China. Why?
Because they posted on their Weibo, and I still don't know why.
Yeah.
But they posted on their Weibo in Chinese, it says, 熊怎么还不下台, which means like
why hasn't the bear stepped down yet?
Right, who's the bear?
Yeah, we've got...
You got a bear laying around, right? Whip out a bear.
Ta-da.
A fan of
this
the
is
show,
fantastic. A fan made this for us, sent it through. It takes pride of place here in the office. But it's Winnie the Pooh eating honey. And as everyone knows, they refer to...
By the way, it says oppression instead of honey.
Yeah, it says oppression. He's eating oppression. The chairman of China, Xi Jinping, his likeness has been compared to Winnie the Pooh. And so people just say Winnie the Pooh. So it's like, why hasn't the bear stepped down? Probably some kind of outrage to do with the lockdowns, because I presume that the Diablo Immortal staff are in Shanghai.
So, yes.
A lot of like when it comes to game software stuff, they're in Shanghai.
So, I would agree with that. I also, I heard a rumor.
You did?
And I heard a rumor from China, so take this with a grain of salt, just because it's not official statements. But I heard a rumor that they already knew that it wasn't going to be approved. Oh. Diablo Immortal.
I don't see how it could be. It's got skeletons and stuff.
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
They could have done a reworked version. They were obviously planning that. They have a China team, right? But still, after I talked to Chris Fenton and like Hollywood execs and stuff, the amount of stuff they have to do to get past censors, even after you already do all that stuff to appease Chinese censors, they can still say no because they have quotas, and you can just get on the wrong side.
Sure.
So the rumor is that they already had inklings from the Chinese government that they weren't going to be allowed in, so they're like, F off.
So they just did that?
As like ribbon.
Maybe they did that because they were being hit with all these requirements. They're like, come on.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's something else that's new in China.
It is.
Don't expect to play Diablo Immortal there. Oh, yeah, we got a bit of a callback here. You probably know if you've watched the show about the subculture called Shamata, right?
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know about Shamata, we'll play this little clip in the background here for a second, and we'll just
probably explain it real quick.
Oh, you want to explain it?
Just Shamata is this weird subculture in China of displaced factory workers that have to leave their hometown. So in China, a lot of laborers, they'll go, like young laborers, they'll go.
Yeah, not just factory workers, just like migrant workers,
I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, sure.
But migrant workers, they leave their hometown, which is a big deal because it's like a family unit society. They leave and they go really far away to a different city in China. And they have no friends. If you don't have connections in China, then you can't do anything.
Sure.
Right? You can't actually get anything done. You need connections inside of your sphere.
Right.
So they go to these places and they find other people that have lost their homes, basically, lost their families because they're just in the middle of nowhere in this random city trying to make ends meet. And for some bizarre reason, it spawned this weird subculture called Shamata, which is a weird take on Japanese host boy attire.
You know what we really have to do is we have to find that clip that we have of them dancing in the forest.
That's a great one.
Remember that one?
Dance battle.
They're having a dance battle in the forest. We got to find that one.
We can find it.
Yeah.
So anyone in the subreddit, please find the clip of Shamata people dancing in the forest. Chinese speakers will be able to find it.
We definitely have it in one of our ADVChina videos, the one about music or something.
Yes. I think it's in there.
It's in there. But we need to find like the...
Well, someone will find it and put it in there.
Yeah. Anyway.
So let me cut to the chase here. It's this weird, it's very looked down upon.
Sure.
It's like a lower income
It's
thing.
seen as very low class.
Yeah. And
like
they listen,
chavs, basically.
Yes. And they listen to Chinese happy hardcore, which is a Chinese version of this weird electronica music that they play in these really cheap clubs where they serve fake beer.
Yeah.
A lot of them are hairdressers because it's a huge migrant worker position.
Sure.
Is a hairdresser for some reason. And we love them because they're like hated by society. They're shunned by society. They're outcasts because they're far from their home. We have a little, you know, as a foreigner in China, you sympathize with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're funny because it's just very like...
It's bizarre.
It's bizarre and weird, and they have weird hairstyles as a key feature. Like
we got an
crazy
update.
hairstyles. And they wear like weird tacky crap suits and stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like if punk was mixed with like electronica mixed with Japanese host culture.
Yeah.
And then brought down to like a blue collar level. Anyway,
We'll play this little clip.
This is an old throwback.
Yeah, we'll play this for you quickly.
This is not the music they listen to.
No, this music has been just put on top.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of it's ridiculous. It's funny.
Yeah.
We've got an update clip which we thought we'd show you.
The leader of the Shamata, that last one you saw, can you put that back on him real quick?
Sure. At least the leader of this one group of Shamata that kind of went famous.
Of course.
This guy.
I think, honestly, I don't want to attribute this, but I think we made them famous in the Western world because they absolutely did not have an audience here.
Maybe.
But anyway,
this guy.
We love this guy. He is like the leader of this particular Shamata group.
Yeah.
And he's always doing whiteface.
Yeah.
And it's not like a racial thing. Why they do that is, well, kind of is. In China and in Asia in general, they want white skin. But a lot of these Shamata will overdo it.
Yeah.
And just
It's a beauty
themselves.
standard.
Yeah.
And it has been since like the ancient emperor times and all that crap. And it's basically, if you're low class, means you're a laborer out there working in the sun and you have dark skin. You get tanned, basically. You get burnt. As they say, you get turned black. That's bien halo. That's what they say in Chinese. So the lighter your skin, the higher class you are, and that's why it's so important. You'll see girls walking around with umbrellas in summer to shield themselves from the sun. Women wear like these long,
weird sleeves,
like sleeves, like cooking sleeves,
removable.
Yeah, you know those. They're supposed to be to like protect you from oil.
Yeah,
they wear those.
Cover up, not to get their arms.
And you'll see like the middle-aged women wear these weird like visors, and that they can like close their whole face off. And
super weird.
You got those face keenies.
Yeah, but not the neck.
Yeah.
Key feature is they never do the neck.
So weird.
So I'd have like students in university or whatever, and they'd try to get gussied up one day or something for if they have photo day or something.
Yeah.
And they'd have this like stark white makeup.
Yeah, they do a lot of white makeup in one area.
Then it's dark here.
Well, you can see in the picture behind us.
Yeah, same with him.
Anyway, so he's kind of done something a little opposite. We thought we'd show you here.
Yeah, this is an update from him.
So let's take a look. Get us out of there.
That is not the music they listen to. That is just some stock music.
Okay, take a look. Take a look.
Things first, I'ma say all the words
I just. Wait, let's go back.
Play that again.
I will.
What in the Lord are you doing?
Okay, I was just messing with this stuff.
Get the Imagine Dragons slap.
Yeah, we slowed it down for copyright, but like. Yeah. By the way, for those of you who think that the child's head is deformed,
it's not.
Don't worry, that's because of the face filter he's using.
Right, it's sucking a bit of that.
Yeah,
head.
you know the face filters in China try to make you have the most pointed chin possible.
Yeah.
And because of that,
Alien chin.
it's somehow warped this poor little
sucked
kid's
the
head.
kid's head in there.
It's also done it to the kid. Look, it's
Yeah.
made the kid's eyes super huge and
like,
also
the
pointed tin.
triangle
Yeah.
face,
It's so you look like this looks like an alien being held by a brown-faced Trudeau or something over there. You know?
It's Shamata Trudeau.
It is.
Dasha.
Yeah, it's Dashan. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Anyway,
Yeah.
play it all the way through unadulterated.
Okay. all right.
So we get here the Imagine Dragons cover slap.
Yeah. I'll leave us in because we're not obscuring it.
First things first, I'ma say all the words.
I mean, it's crazy.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't know what he got the idea for holding a baby. Maybe this is his like reveal video that he has a kid.
I think it is. I think
Yeah.
it is because the kid's pretty young. And then here's the deal. I can tell you this. I
Yeah.
talked to him a little bit through the comments on a burner account on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it turns out the guy that was posting the videos was pretending to be him, and it wasn't him.
Oh, I see.
It was someone stealing his Douyin videos.
Right, and put them on
putting
TikTok.
them on TikTok, pretending to be him. So I was talking to him, and he pretended to be him, finally admitted it.
Right.
But what happened was this guy took a hiatus for a while. So he was gone.
Right.
And I think what happened is in this year, it's been probably about a year, right? He had a kid.
Yeah.
So congratulations to, what do we call him?
I don't even know what
Lego
you could
man?
call him right now. Yeah, maybe. Lego man, ramen hair guy. It's like
Trudeau.
yeah, Trudeau.
Chinese Trudeau.
Yeah. We'll have to think of a proper. We'll come up with something. Maybe the chat will come up with something.
Maybe chat will come up with something.
Anyway, we just thought we'd update you.
We love him, actually.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's hilarious. So,
This is a little sus, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he was even trying to do blackface.
obviously, he was. He was trying to.
Yeah, but not in that way.
No, I think he just wanted to have an opposite effect.
Because of the white face.
Maybe.
I think he was like, oh, you won't believe this.
He's got to do something outrageous.
Yeah, it's like, because blackface isn't a thing in China. They do it. I'm saying it's not an offensive thing in China. They
Sure.
do it all the time.
No, yeah, they don't see it as offensive.
No, and they get away with it.
Anyway.
Which is kind of crazy. Anyway,
This is
that's another. I just thought you guys would enjoy that.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
do it.
Okay, so now we're moving on to NATO.
Yes.
What do you want to say
Who
to
likes NATO? Shout out to NATO.
Yeah.
NATO. So anyway, why are we talking about NATO? They're actually very important. This is actually probably the most important part of what's new. So NATO has, I don't know if you guys have been following this.
First
If
of all,
you don't know
what is NATO? What is NATO?
NATO is an alliance for the North Atlantic, right?
Yes.
So basically, you don't have to be in the North Atlantic, but it's like
What does the TO stand for?
North Atlantic.
What does it stand for?
It's the North Atlantic
Trudeau Organization?
No, it's. Why did you do this? Treaty Alliance. North Atlantic
no.
Treaty Alliance.
No, it's not. It's Treaty Organization. It's not alliance. It's not NATO.
Oh yeah, duh. What am I talking about? Treaty Organization.
Yeah.
Sorry, treaty. Wait,
Doesn't matter.
Trudeau. I got my head in massive brain fart there.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, so NATO.
Yes, NATO.
NATO doesn't.
It's real NATO, you know?
It's a NATO.
Yeah.
They don't have to have countries from the North Atlantic. I mean,
Sure.
Japan, South Korea, and stuff like this. Anyway, long story short, the most important part of this is that China is very upset at NATO. And why is that?
Because NATO's finally called them out as a threat.
And that doesn't happen
No.
normally.
No.
So you have this massive alliance of countries, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to read what they are.
Okay.
Albania, Belgium, Bulgaria, Canada, Croatia. Think of this as like a massive allies.
Yeah, allies all basically, it's all about security.
Yes, security allies. So it's a military organization. Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Montenegro, Netherlands, North Macedonia, Norway, Poland.
Oh, all right, sorry, keep going.
It's important that people know what these member states are.
keep doing it.
Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Turkey, UK, and US.
We are now, the member states of NATO. Well done.
Well, I think it gives you some perspective because think about it. There's people in here that are probably in one of those countries. And they're like, oh, we're in NATO. Right?
Sure.
So now, let's call them super friends. Right?
Okay.
These super friends have finally come together. And instead of calling out other issues or threats,
Tankies hate NATO, by the way.
they hate it. Tankies are pro-authoritarian people.
They're
People that love Russia, China,
Yeah.
Syria, Assad.
NATO serves a purpose.
Yes. So very upset. They basically banded together and said, we need to not fight China, but China is an issue.
Sure.
Right? China is a security issue.
Of course.
And the reason is because they're an expanding power. They're now an imperialist power.
Yeah.
And they're trying to take over all of the Asian sphere of influence.
Yeah,
right?
of course
and
they are.
The point of...
Laying claim to areas and territories that don't belong to them.
Correct. The point of NATO or any sort of agreement...
Backing Russia.
Yeah. The point of any agreement like this is to allow trade through open water ports.
Yeah.
Make sure that people aren't getting harassed and that the world can function, semi-stably.
This is something that it's kind of hard for people that don't get involved in geopolitics to understand,
Sure.
okay? Basically, the current world order as it stands right now, and that means right now, you order something, it gets shipped from China to your country, okay?
Yeah.
That would not be able to happen without NATO.
Correct.
And the reason being, without NATO patrolling the waters in the various territories around to make sure that, like, random pirates don't come and hijack those ships, that stuff wouldn't make it from China to whichever country you're in, right?
Yeah.
Because think about it. If you're just a random pirate, okay, here I am, I'm a pirate, and I'm like, there's a big cargo ship with like 1 billion motorcycles coming from China to Africa. Let's just take it.
Right.
Let's get a couple of skiffs together, a couple of RPGs, whatever.
Take it.
We're just going to go take that, okay?
You address the community.
What are you addressing what?
It's hot. The windows are open.
Oh, okay. It is hot. All right. So anyway, NATO and this current world order that a lot of people hate the current status quo, but they don't really understand it. It's beneficial to China. It's beneficial to Russia even. It's beneficial to everyone that this current world order, the way it works with NATO and stuff, actually exists. Because if it wasn't there, nothing would work. Like I said, any random pirate would just be able to go and hijack anything on the seas or the land, or, you're driving a truck through Europe to get to, I don't know, somewhere to deliver goods. Without NATO, it'd be very easy for bandits to just go and, hijack those goods and prevent or go and attack a pipeline or whatever. So you have to understand that NATO does play a big role in everything. So it's not just some weird group of powerful old men deciding the fate of the world or whatever the tankies tend to think.
Yeah.
It actually benefits everyone to be there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so China's really upset about this
Yeah.
to be called out like that. And I'd like to, can you play Wang Wenbin in the background?
Okay, I'll get him up
I don't
there.
need audio from him. I'll read some of his key quotes. Here.
Okay, what are his key quotes about NATO?
So the leaders are expected to discuss the membership bids by Sweden and Finland. They're
Okay.
not happy about that. Why? Because Russia's pissed off about that.
Sure.
Sweden and Finland are two great military powers. Small countries, but like small populations.
They're legendary.
But legendary military powers, right? So huge problem to have that on Russia's border. Russia's furious. Why would China be furious? Well, they're pretty much allied with Russia at this point.
That's right. Yeah.
Even though they try to say that they're not. It says the necessary investments in their collective defense and approve a new set of strategic priorities for years to come, including cyber warfare, climate change, and challenges of China's growing influence and assertiveness. That's what they got
Yes.
mad at, right?
Yeah.
So this is what Wang Wenbin says. Asia-Pacific region does not belong to the geographical scope of the North Atlantic, and the people in Asia-Pacific firmly reject words or deeds to introduce military bloc into or instigate division or confrontation in this region. This is what pisses me off.
Right.
Wang Wenbin, I'm falling off the camera here,
Yeah.
is saying on China's behalf that
Asia-Pacific
region is angry at NATO, right? Wait a second, let's just think about this for 2 seconds. What countries are sympathetic or are in NATO?
Well, you read them all out.
Yes.
So,
Although there's no member states officially, do you think Japan is angry? Do you think Japan is mad?
I don't think so.
I don't think Japan is
What about
angry
South
at
Korea?
that. I don't think South Korea is angry at something standing up to China
Yeah.
in the region. Otherwise, we wouldn't have military alliances with them.
Sure.
It makes absolutely no sense.
No, what's happening here is China is trying to represent the whole Asia-Pacific region.
That's the issue.
They're
right?
trying to speak on behalf of every country in the region to say
Yes.
that no one in the region wants NATO. Actually, the only people that don't want NATO are China.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and you know, it's
Its allies. Well, close allies.
it's
Like North Korea.
What can we call them?
vassal states.
It's vassal states, Cambodia.
Yeah,
North
vassal
Korea.
states.
He says, we urge NATO to stop drawing ideological lines which may induce confrontation, stop spreading disinformation and making provocative statements against China, and not to seek to start a new Cold War. And I just found this interesting because led me down a rabbit hole. Right. This rabbit hole led me to find that there was some predictions being made, and then I came to my own prediction and conclusion that China, because of the current threat to Russia that NATO poses, and how much flip-flop we've seen from countries like Sweden and Finland that never wanted anything to do with it, and now are
now they want to join NATO.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, to see such a global shift like that is unprecedented, and it's really freaking out countries like Russia, first and foremost, and then by proxy, China.
Well, I mean, look, Russia understands that if NATO gets involved in this invasion that they've done to the Ukraine,
it's
if
over.
NATO gets involved, then they're screwed because NATO has got the full force of all these countries. They can all send their troops in. They can all send in their planes and their tanks.
More will join if that happened. They would fall like dominoes.
And because Russia is now China's closest ally, basically, whether they say it officially or not, for now, it would affect China too. Right. And also China's constantly threatening to attack Taiwan and various other places. So if they see the whole world stand up to Russia, then it scares them to think that when they try to attack Taiwan, that the whole world will stand up to them too.
Also, Xi Jinping is terrified. Well, Xi Jinping's, his whole party basically is terrified because when you back Russia and you think, hey, this will be the new global order, and you see how poorly Russia performs.
Yes.
Then you're like, wait a minute, did I pick the wrong side?
Sure.
Right? Not that they had an option to pick the other side, but it's like maybe I should have stayed out of it a lot more.
Yeah, because they are now still saying all these good things about their allies, their friendships and stuff.
Look at the economic trade and look at the oil that's been shared between the two countries.
Yeah.
You'll see actually what's happening. And the what's it called? The embargoes and stuff that are being ignored by China. So anyway, what this rabbit hole led me down was you're going to start seeing China to try to use, first they'll use the Chinese language to go out there and try to tell their citizens that NATO is bad, and all these countries are just full of shit, and America's bullying them into it. It's not their choice, and actually China represents the free world. Crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then that would filter down into the English-speaking propaganda, because what they want is a bunch of people that are already skeptical of some sort of world order or the new world order, or
tankies and stuff.
Not just tankies, like people that that think that there's this weird hegemony going on, and that everyone's working together with the top billionaires to create, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Deep state,
stuff,
whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
When you hear those kind of catch buzzwords,
I just turn off every time I hear that.
for sure. But there's a lot of people that don't, and what they can do is they can get those skeptical people, right?
Yeah.
And they can get those people that follow these bizarre, very alternative news.
What
sources.
they don't realize is that if they do push through this agenda and people actually buy it and they just dissolve NATO and NATO gets kicked out, those Christmas lights are not going to arrive from China to the USA in time for Christmas.
The kind of people that hate NATO and are somehow, for some reason, sympathizing with Russia and China. Yeah. I don't know what you think your life is going to look like. Yeah. I don't understand what you think your life is going to be.
Well, they can wear a Che Guevara t-shirt or whatever. And
it's not just tankies, though. It's these people that have just fallen completely out of, they think everything is bad except these weird sources that they find, right? It's this thing I uncovered in that video I made. Yeah. On these alternative sites. It's not everyone. No. But it's both sides. It's left and super left, super right. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to tell you what my prediction was, is that China was going to start making English anti.
You've got a logo over your face. Is that on the live stream, I wonder?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah. Just curious. Sorry. Just keep going.
Okay,
keep
cool.
going.
I do have I think people would probably tell me that I have a logo on my face.
Yeah, maybe they would. Maybe they wouldn't. I think it depends on how big it is.
Let's see.
Bring it up. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
So, my prediction was that China would start it's pretty small.
You got a logo. No, if you got full screen. I'm good.
China would start making English propaganda about anti-NATO stuff, right?
Yeah, and that's what the people are really here for, is to see this weak attempt at propaganda. So let's get into it.
But tell them who it is.
It's...
That's bloody outrageous.
You remember Bloody Outrageous James Bond? What was James Pond?
I do, and it was so painful, and it made me want to die because China started to do this propaganda where they wanted to be like Western comedy.
Yeah.
Where they were like, I can do parodies. I can be funny.
Are we going to show it?
Yeah.
Let's show it.
And
Okay, everyone.
They made a new one.
Yeah, let's watch this. I actually haven't watched it yet, so this is going to be my first time.
Be a fresh take.
Yeah, I'll watch it along with you guys, and we can comment on it. All right, so I've got to get us out of here, and we're going to just start it. Here we go.
This is gonna hurt you.
Okay.
Turn it up.
Dear passengers, thank you for flying with NATO United, not a terror organization, where we provide you with a unique sense of security. We believe in security for freedom, security for everyone. Our captain today and every day is Uncle Sam, with a rich experience in controlling everything. Please show him utmost respect and refrain from using abusive language such as Now here's some safety instructions.
Before doors close, your carry-on items should be stowed. During takeoff and landing,
Sovereignty
make
stowed.
sure your tray tables are placed in their upright
Independence
and
locked.
positions. Electronic devices must be set to Huawei free mode.
Yes.
If you need internet, simply log on to CIA or Net Wi-Fi. Leave
What?
a password. 5 eyes on you.
Should any part of the plan fall apart, please do not panic. This plan is powered by core engines used only by NATO United. Despite our exclusive service, we never stop conjuring up competitors to push ourselves forward. Membership is decided by Uncle Sam. And if need be, we welcome even kangaroos and
Wait, so they're making fun of Australia now and Japan?
And Japan,
fish and penguins.
Once on
Who's
board,
penguin? Who? What? Antarctica?
I think probably New Zealand.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
we ensure security for everyone, including when purposely cutting through the Siberian high above Russia, a flying experience nowhere else available.
Are they talking about the downed YouTube plane, like spy plane from like the 60s or whatever it was?
Probably.
Okay.
This is so fucking bad.
It's terrible. Oh, wait, still goes on?
It goes on.
Okay, all right.
British Alliance, the best safety record. This is us, NATO United. Our work has been featured in our in-flight films, including Gone with the Wind, Mission Impossible, Removing WMD, Going Home from Afghanistan, and Sleepless in Tripoli.
Dear passengers, as a unique service, we offer you food and beverage with a taste of security, like
Your captain speaking. Security for freedom, even if that brings problems. For our service, we only charge you 2% of the value of your gross durable property.
You're trying to make like plays on
Agreed.
words.
Yeah.
To further the business interests of our major shareholders, including Lockheed Martin, P0rn, and Raytheon, we are opening
Raytheon. Did he just say Raytheon?
He's making that's his attempt at a joke. Lockheed Martin, boring, and Raytheon.
Oh, okay. I thought he was just doing a Chinese accent, that he can't say Raytheon.
big
Okay.
airways and looking for partners in the region. Join us if you share our goal of promoting this my way or no way flight. Multiple partnership plans are on offer, including 5, 4, 3, and 2. Free access to adventures is now or never, including CPI jumps, air caps, nuke simulator, the Shufa Jobra, and oil-free fries.
should there be an emergency during flight, find your life jacket under your seat, and oxygen masks will drop automatically. Please make sure you have paid your membership fee, or your life jacket will not inflate and oxygen will not flow in an emergency landing. There are 8 exits in this aircraft.
In an emergency, please allow American passengers to leave first or risk severe consequences.
Here comes Shangri-La.
Man-made
Time to have
effects.
fun. Woohoo!
That was it?
Yeah. Honestly, that was worse than the James
It was way
Bond
worse.
one.
First of all, it wasn't funny.
No, that's the problem.
Yeah, it wasn't actually.
There's probably actually a shit ton of puns you could do and actually funny stuff if you wanted to be against NATO.
Yeah.
I could make a better tanky film. By the way, the most important thing to highlight here, for all you guys that don't know, this is not a fan
This is the Chinese government.
This is Xinhua, the top mouthpiece of the Chinese government, the top one.
Yeah,
straight from the
so this
straight
is
from Beijing.
This is the Chinese government. They made this.
Yeah, this is not like a
That's
fan
pretty
fiction.
badass eagle, by the way. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
That'd be a cool patch or something.
Again,
in a jacket.
They make
America look cool. They make themselves look petty and stupid.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, just be funny.
Yeah.
They try to throw this word salad and try to make all these weird references that nobody's gonna know.
All they're trying to do is they're trying to highlight the failures of American, what would you call those campaigns in the past? Not finding the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
There's stuff you can clown on about that.
Yeah,
though.
of course.
But it's not funny.
But what they're trying to do is they're trying to say NATO's bad because these failures X, Y, Z that have happened in the past, right?
Yes.
Fair enough to try and point out and to criticize these issues because they are genuine issues. But it's not related.
No.
It's not related.
No.
That's the whole thing. They try their absolute best to discredit this alliance based on some few things like that. Like, how about all the actual successes that NATO's had?
Sure. No, you just ignore that.
Yeah, we just ignore everything. How about the fact that you're trying to clown on and just completely destroy a system that would destroy you?
This is a hot take. That's actually not a hot take. It would be a hot take for a tanky.
Yeah.
Without NATO in the global structure, China wouldn't exist as it is today.
No, it wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be able to continue the way it is because all the investment from the outside world and all the manufacturing that was moved to China would no longer be able to be continued. You would not be able to manufacture anything in China because who's going to be there to protect the goods that, first of all, the raw materials that have to arrive there, because China imports most of its
Blue
crap.
Water Navy that protects shipments.
That's the whole point. I'm saying the raw materials that have to get to China. How do they get there? You don't fly a freaking 200 tons.
Okay, you want pirates to go steal everything?
Well, it's not
Enjoy.
It's rival nations. It doesn't matter. Like anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Competition is protected, and that's what created this.
So, first of all, nothing would be able to get into China, nothing would be able to leave China without NATO. So why are they complaining? They don't have an equivalent to NATO. And I guess that's what they want to do is build something like that.
Which it wouldn't operate the same. It would be
China.
Only China.
Yeah.
China's rules only.
It wouldn't work very well. Anyway, so we thought we'd show you that ridiculous propaganda.
That was such projection. It's not even funny.
We have one more What's New, and it's kind of funny. Sorry for this ridiculous thing. Okay.
All right. We have a picture here of 1989. This is Princess Diana in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So this is when it was part of the UK.
Yeah.
Then 1975, Queen Elizabeth II in Hong Kong. Same. Notice how they're just kind of there. There's probably security.
Yeah,
in the
they're
background
interacting with
they're
people.
interacting with people.
Yeah.
And this meme is going around.
Yeah.
This was 2022. I don't know if you guys know, but Xi Jinping went to Hong Kong to what? Celebrate the handover back.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, by the way, although over 2 million of you went in the streets to protest, about half the population in Hong Kong, I'm going to go there and say, I told you so. Welcome back to China, bitch.
Look, it's been pretty bad. You've seen they've put up the Chinese flag everywhere. The Hong Kong has its own flag, by the way. Okay? And it's actually a very nice looking flag.
It's a flower.
Yeah. What kind of flower is it?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't. You better look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you putting me on the spot like you don't know what it is?
No, I'm checking your general knowledge here.
Okay, what is it then?
Find out.
No, you tell me.
No, I'm not. That would spoil it.
I'm not going to look it up now.
Yeah, look it up.
No, you lost the privilege.
No.
No.
It's like a lotus or something. What is it?
It's not a lotus.
What is it then? It's like what is it supposed to be?
It's a bawahina.
It's a bawahina, and you didn't know that. Okay? Anyway, the fact of the matter is, Hong Kong has this very cool looking flag.
Yes.
It's red and white.
Yeah.
Okay? And they've put that next to the whatchamacallits. They put that next to the Chinese flags, but they made the Chinese flags bigger and the Hong Kong flags smaller.
Of course. Anyway, the point is, the meme is showing the barriers that they put up when Xi Jinping's visit came. He did not go on the streets. He did not talk to people. He did not hang out with people. In fact, look at these barriers. They're taller than that woman.
Yeah, no,
they're like clown structures.
First of all, this is the first time that Xi Jinping has left mainland China.
Yes.
Since the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's a big thing. So the security has been massively ramped up. Like anywhere that he's going, they evacuate all the people.
Yeah.
Huge security barriers are put up. And even funnier, he was supposed to make a speech in front of,
Here it is.
crowds of people.
Yeah.
That's how it was filmed.
For Chinese state media.
It was filmed as if he is standing in front of a massive amount of people.
Yeah, like a big speech.
So there he's standing at a podium. He's making his big important speech.
Yeah.
You can see that, right?
Yeah.
It's like a flower.
You get the impression that there's like a million people in front
Yeah.
of him or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the live stream accidentally revealed a wide shot, which we'll get to here.
It aired it.
Yeah. That. Yeah. He was giving a speech to 4 people standing off to the side. Not even standing in front of him.
Bad PR. It's an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
That's the worst nightmare of China, the Chinese government.
Yeah.
That kind of failure.
Yeah.
That's like bad end of days shit.
Yeah.
Because it's loss of face.
Of course it is.
It's cowardice.
And first of all, it shows you that Xi Jinping is so paranoid that he doesn't want to be around people. He's obviously dead scared about COVID.
COVID and whatnot.
Everywhere he goes has to be completely freaking evacuated of people.
Yeah.
Okay? They obviously sterilize the crap out of it. They make sure, look at those people are standing really far away from him.
Yeah.
And there's only 4 of them. And they're standing up against the wall to his left-hand side.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is kind of bizarre.
Yes.
Surely they could be standing in front of him because he's looking forward when he makes his speech.
Yes.
So he's actually just staring
into the abyss
to a camera, like down there, like a really long lens camera
it's like
as well.
The basement of a mall.
Yeah, it looks like a freaking parking lot or something. It really does.
Dude, this is I don't like, for those of you that are not in touch with the CCP and what they do for standing on airs and like making presence. This is a disaster.
Yeah,
it's like, like Biden falling off a bike or Trump falling down or just saying a foible. That kind of stuff makes it immediately into the media. Everyone clowns on it, make memes. Everyone's joking about it. They might even reference their own mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. This is not like that. This is huge.
Yeah.
The CCP never makes a mistake.
Yeah.
They can't admit it. They can't show it. So whoever streamed this wide shot,
oh yeah, he's
going
to be in some trouble.
Yeah.
Tell you that much. Anyway, obviously this won't be reported in China.
Oh no,
not allowed to be.
On CCTV
it did because it was live. They couldn't fix it.
Chinese people were dying. They were like, "What the hell?" This is so funny.
Yeah. So anyway, this whole stupid scenario of this 25-year anniversary of the handover has really started to ask some questions, get some questions asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because China was supposed to not erode the freedoms of Hong Kong. China was supposed to have this one country, 2 systems thing, where they would allow the Hong Kong status quo to continue. They wouldn't mess with the laws. They wouldn't mess with the way Hong Kong was run, the financial system. But they have to such an extent that it's destroyed Hong Kong.
Yes.
It's gotten so bad now that Hong Kong, which was this vibrant financial hub in the entire region, this international city is starting to make a huge loss. People are fleeing. There's a brain drain,
Yeah.
And they're getting to a point where the Communist Party is starting to ask people like, what can we do to fix this?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't realize that they've destroyed it.
Did I show that graphic last time about the actual brain drain?
I don't think so.
So Russia's leading the pack, obviously, because it's like in war.
Yeah.
But for the amount of like wealthy people leaving, I think China's number 2. And if you compare it to like any other developed country around the world that has 0 outflow, so it's to me, you don't have to talk about ideology. You don't have to talk about the morality of governance. You don't have to talk about literally anything, what the US did, what Europe did, what China did. You just look at statistics.
Yeah.
And statistics will show you very clearly that an absolute shit ton of Chinese people are leaving China that have education and wealth because it's not a safe place to be for them. Yeah. So if that's happening, then it's not a good place. That is not on a good trajectory. That is a failing state.
I actually got a question the other day from a patron sent me a question. He was asking why he's, because he travels a lot, and why there are so many South African pilots.
Yeah.
And my answer was very straightforward, is that anyone with any skills has left China. South Africa, sorry.
Yeah.
So doctors and...
Or at least a good chunk of them.
All of them.
Okay.
Everyone. For doctors, they have Cuban doctors coming in.
Oh, wow.
To replace. What I'm saying is that if someone is in a position to leave...
They do.
Unless they're very tied down, I don't know if it's a sentimental... Of course, you do get a group of people who believe in the country.
Sure.
And they want to fight tooth and nail for this rainbow nation that has failed. They'll get those people for sure. But I'm saying the majority of people that haven't, even the slightest option to leave, so they've got some kind of skill which is in demand, or they've got they've built some kind of wealth, or they've built some kind of know-how or expertise, they are out of the country. And that's why you find so many South Africans around the world.
Makes sense.
Which is kind of bizarre. Because why would you leave?
Yeah.
If South Africa was...
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in a country that was good, South Africa, if it was good, I wouldn't have left.
Of course, why would you?
Why?
It's just the proof's in the pudding, right?
Yeah,
to bring
that's
that
what
back
I'm
to
saying.
China,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
That's
why
exactly
would
why I made
wealthy and educated people leave China in droves, and that increase drastically under Xi Jinping, especially right now? Why would that be the case?
Also, the amount of asylum seekers in the U.S. from China, it's just increasing and increasing.
It's insane, right? I think I did on my video, no one can leave China. I went through the statistics about this.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And the thing is, my message to people that are CCP supporters, why is this? I still have not had a Tanky or a CCP supporter tell me an actual logical... I have not heard an absolutely stupid reason behind that. No, for real, though. I'm waiting for someone to say, it's this way because of this, right? Yes. Oh, there's some sort of incentive program. Oh, they're bad people. I haven't heard... There's no excuse for it, right?
Yeah, so, there is no excuse. China doesn't have immigrants because it's a non-immigrant country.
Right.
That's the thing. So they can't say, look how many people are going to China, because there aren't. There are only people leaving. There are no people going in, just people leaving.
Yeah, so why?
Yeah, well, because it sucks.
You have to face that,
the system sucks.
Right.
So
face the reality.
These lockdowns, the fact that they've now... through state media said that they're in the Beijing anyway, the lockdowns are probably going to continue for another 5 years. They quickly deleted those articles, but they said that, it was put out in state media that it would be at least another 5 years of this very strict zero COVID policy, sort of test every couple hours or whatever, every couple days.
Yeah, for sure.
All that. Who knows when it'll go, but it's not good.
No, it's not.
Anyway, now for something completely different. So, you care about the security of your health. Eat healthy vegetables, fruits, bananas, things like that.
Yeah.
Why would you not care about your internet security?
Makes you really think about it.
Yeah.
It's a deep question, right?
Yeah.
So this video is brought to you by NordVPN, our favorite VPN. We use a VPN every single day for every single device that we use. And the reason being is not just when we travel, right?
Sure.
It's to keep your internet safe, to make sure that no one's prying in, seeing what you're doing online. Keep all your connections secure, make sure that people aren't tracking you. But you also have to worry about things like malware.
Dude, threat protection is a new thing that Nord's just rolled out, and it's fantastic because it gets rid of things like malware, malicious websites, trackers, intrusive ads, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely worth checking out.
Absolutely. So this is the Nord the VPN that we choose is NordVPN.
Yeah.
And we're very proud that they're a sponsor of the show.
Yes.
And it's especially a sponsor of this live show, this podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Remember, to be a sponsor of any of our channels, that means that they're willing to stand up to the pressure put on by the CCP and all of its terrible tankies that follow the CCP and on the behalf of the CCP try to shut us down and try to cancel us and attack sponsors that even touch us. So NordVPN's been, with us for a long time. We do use it.
Yeah. There's other practical resources or uses for it too.
Yeah.
You can use it to see different content. So for example, if you go on Netflix, when you go on Netflix and it's like, oh, this show that you want to watch, right, is not available in your region.
It doesn't say it, just not there.
It's just not there. But if you go and Google and you look up why, it'll say this is not available in your region. So you can actually hop to a different server on NordVPN and then go and watch that show.
Sure.
I actually have done it for things that are not available.
Yeah.
But I want to say that if you go to nordvpn.com/ADVPodcasts, that's what it is, ADV Podcasts, you're not only going to get a massive discount off a 2-year plan, but you'll also get access to this new cybersecurity package.
You should really go check it out because the percentage you get off is really nice.
I absolutely think that you should go to this link, not only to support us, but to see how nice
Yeah,
the
just
deal
go
is.
just go look at it anyway.
Just
Yeah.
to see how nice it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So click the link in the description, or just go to nordvpn.com/ADV podcasts. Thank you very much.
Cool. So we're going to do a couple super chats
Yeah,
then?
let's do that.
All right, let's do some super chats. We'll do some super chats. Then we're going to move into this whole porn thing that you guys actually clicked on the thing for.
What can we call porn, not porn? Oh, corn. What do you call it? Corn.
Just call it porn. There's nothing wrong with
We
calling
okay
it.
with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's what it is. It is what it
YouTube's
is.
crazy these days.
It's okay.
Okay, anyway.
We're not going to be descriptive.
No. David Lopez, well, maybe we will. Keep him on the line. David Lopez,
Sure.
pre-show said, anyone else's comments disappearing? We fixed that, by the way. And we didn't actually fix that. It's just when we went live, it fixed itself.
It was a very bizarre thing where
So
people were
weird.
typing comments and they weren't coming up unless there was an emoji attached to it.
Sure.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Dylan Viennett says, Charles Womack says, my boss, you're fired. Me, pauses porn. Why?
Yeah.
Dylan Viennett says, coming at you live from Macedonia today,
Excellent.
boys. Dylan's traveling all around Southern Europe, eh? Wouldn't miss it for the world. Hope you're keeping clear of Chinese ox. Yeah, we'll talk about more of that later.
Thank you.
Dylan, sorry. Quinn F, thank you very much. Wow, very generous. What if I'm not watching porn but reading porn? Well, we'll talk about how it works.
Yeah.
What if I'm foolish enough not to use a VPN while I read at the local Starbucks? Does Xi Jinping know?
Who knows?
Quinn, I don't know. I will tell you this. They mostly were targeting men for this. So I think you might be okay.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. If you go to a Starbucks in China, you can't access anything without a VPN anyway.
Yeah.
Like in China, it's just the same internet. You don't get
you'll have to use
privileged
Chinese
internet.
yeah.
There are some very exclusive 5-star hotels that have unrestricted internet in China.
Yes.
There are a few, but they're like really expensive 5-star
Yeah.
international hotels.
I'm also skeptical that those still exist.
Yeah, probably not anymore.
No, I actually think I read something that they pulled the
They
plug
pulled
on
that?
those.
Yeah, I just remember like there were certain cases.
It's interesting. You'll actually see why in this study. Why, it's actually really interesting how the Chinese government can't get over itself. Like even when it tries to do things, they still are succumb to their own things. And I remember there was at least one. I can confirm this. There was at least one hotel in Hainan.
Oh, you mean this one? Where is it? I gotta find it. Give me a second. It's this one.
No, not Hainan. Hainan.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
In Hainan, the southern island, it's a lot of people. I think a lot of people get confused on a map. I've actually heard some people make this mistake. They're like, "Oh, is that like Taiwan? They have their own privileges and stuff." No, Hainan does not have. It has some special economic privileges, but it's fully under the CCP. In fact, it's a
just
military base.
Yeah,
Chinese
yeah.
PLA military base. Anyway. There was one international hotel there because they were experimenting with this visa-free, kind of like Hawaii does.
Yeah.
A visa-free, still part of China, but because you're not going to be able to pop over into the Chinese mainland from there unless you go through another checkpoint, right?
Yeah.
So they were doing this visa-free travel experiment to Hainan
Yeah.
because they're trying to make it like the Hawaii of China.
Yeah.
It sucks, by the way.
It's not the Hawaii.
Hainan sucks.
They shouldn't call it the Hawaii of China. It's got nothing to do with Hawaii.
No, it's to compare those two is insulting.
It's insulting. It
It's
is.
so bad.
Yeah.
Hainan is overpriced, it's polluted, it's so hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a huge scam. But anyway, this international hotel experimented with they got local government approval at least to allow unfettered access to the internet
Right.
for international tourists. So when they came on their plane, stayed for a couple days, visa free, that they didn't experience this weird Great Firewall oppressive bullshit.
Yeah.
And long story short, they did that for a little bit and then they pulled the plug. So that's why I think that Shanghai thing, I think that's done.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's
Why
done.
did they pull the plug?
The central government pulled the plug on
Okay.
it. So the local government allowed it. They kind of got some sort of, like sentiment of approval.
Sure.
And then the central government pulled the plug on it.
Right.
And you'll see actually how this works in the study. Let's go into
Yeah, well, we actually have to move over to
Yeah.
soft power. This is where we talk about what China's trying to do to change your mind through various ways. Not only your mind, but just people's minds in general.
That's right.
Okay, so let me just get this all lined up in the background here. Give me a second. Okay, we're gonna show you a picture over here, which is actually our thumbnail.
Yeah.
Unadulterated version.
Yeah, we made their heads a little bigger to make so you could see their reactions.
Now, look, internet cafes. We're going to talk a little bit about the actual culture behind internet cafes later. But what you do need to know is that sometime during, I want to say it was probably around about 2008.
Yes.
thereabouts. I would like to say, because when I first got to China, this wasn't the case. You could walk into an internet cafe, you could sit down, you pay like 5 RMB for 2 hours. It was really cheap.
It's so cheap.
Yeah. You could
Which
sit
is
down,
under $1.
Yeah, you could sit down for 2 hours and just they have games you could play. There were obviously pirated movies and music you could listen to.
Yeah.
You just chill out in a nice big office chair, kind of like what I got here. Earphones. It's filthy. It was so
I wanted you to be honest.
So filthy.
I'm sitting here like not able to pay attention to you because you're just talking shit.
I just got to say, it was filthy. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, anyway, the fact of the matter is, most of the time. You did get fancy ones, but
for
very,
sure.
very
I
seldom.
actually did a video on a fancy one.
Yeah, on a fancy one. But I mean, back in the day, they were filthy, but they were cool. I liked it. It's just a cigarette
it's
smoke
awesome.
hanging in the air.
It's freaking awesome. I used to go there with my after we'd ride motorcycles in Mongolia, we'd go dirt biking and go there and we'd just hang out, eat noodles and just smoke cigarettes and play stupid QQ games.
Yeah. So anyway, somewhere around about 2008, they made it mandatory that if you went to an internet cafe, you had to register with your government ID. It could have been.
Must have been a little bit later than that.
It could have been later.
I was there when it shifted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And I had to borrow my Chinese friends' IDs to go in.
Well, it got to a point like if you're a foreigner, they wouldn't let you go.
They wouldn't even let you in. No, they wouldn't accept my passport.
Yeah, because they don't accept passports. Anyway, the fact of the matter, so it must have been later. Okay. In my mind, it's around 2000, probably more like 2012.
Yes.
Anyway, the fact of the matter is they made it mandatory that when you go sign up for those 2 hours, your government-issued ID card is scanned.
Right.
So that if you were to leave a comment on the internet that was anti-government, or maybe if you went and searched the wrong search terms, if you did the wrong thing online, if you caused quarrels, spread rumors, you did anything, it could be tied back to you.
That's right.
Okay? Because each computer has its own unique, serial number and stuff that's then tied to your ID card during that time that you were using it.
That's right.
So basically anything that you do. If you were to search porn or something like that and get around the
I never mind
censors,
that. Even like a forum talking about democracy or something.
If you were to do anything during your time and it's tied to your ID card, the police would come. And you can see in this picture here, this is actually a real picture. It's not staged. Of someone obviously was doing the wrong thing. I love his fake Apple earphones, by the way. Let's get out of there. Get out of there.
Colors.
Yeah, that's kind of common. Fake Apple earphones. They look terrible, by the way. And he's sitting there, and the cops are checking his ID, and he's obviously in trouble because he accessed something or he did something he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay? So the cops will actually come into the internet cafes and arrest people or harass them or whatever if you did the wrong thing online. So just to give you an idea of this sort of level of control. Now, let's talk about this whole thing about mind reading and pornography.
Yes.
So
I'll get into that.
All right. First of all, what is pornography?
So, by the definition of like normal people or the Chinese government?
Well, both.
Okay, I can do both. Yeah, I actually did a whole video on this.
Yeah.
I said, well, how do Chinese people watch porn?
Yeah.
Right? Me and Vivi did a huge deep dive into the law and how it was a bit of an investigative journalism. I asked some people in China how they look at it, and then the people that don't have access to it, what do they do? What is their methodology? Right.
Sure.
So I came up with two groups of people. One group of people is people that I personally know that were comfortable enough to tell me about it. And they are people that are savvy enough to use a VPN. Now, if I was to put a percentage on this, I would say less than 5% of people, even people I know, would know this, how to use a VPN.
Sure.
Right? They're not using VPNs. These are people that already speak English. Most of the people I talked to had been abroad already. So they know about it. And then they use a VPN to go do that. Now, the rest of the people that I spoke to, or they are speaking on their behalf, are not they're actually using the Chinese internet to look at porn.
Sure.
Now, by definition, pornography is illegal in China.
It is super illegal.
But it's not tolerated. It's just not, there's no way to really crack down on it. Because the vast majority of people are looking up naughty stuff, like men at least, right? Looking up naughty stuff, and there are always websites that are popping up. And
but they get swatted down.
They get swatted, but there's new mirrors all the time.
Sure.
So what happens is they operate a lot of them out of these foreign hubs, out of the Philippines, out of Macau, out of Hong Kong, out of Taiwan, right? And these areas will actually be set up by mainland Chinese people that will go there, and they set up gambling dens, like gambling rings, for online poker sites, online mahjong,
Which is also very illegal.
very
in
illegal,
China,
right?
yeah.
But they set up these ways for Chinese people to be able to gamble online, right?
Yeah.
And it's weird. That's kind of tolerated. It brings revenue into China. Don't worry about it. What?
Just checking it out.
Okay.
Feature. Anyway.
Yeah. Didn't even know about that.
Sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, so these Chinese people move to these foreign countries, and then they operate these gambling sites, right?
Yeah.
Now, out of the same servers, they operate porn sites, right? So there's mirror after mirror after mirror of these, right, all over the place, and they get shut down by the central government. Then they come back up on a different mirror, right? Yeah. So they're usually just like crappy rips of Japanese porn.
It's always Japanese porn, and it makes sense because it's relatable.
Sure.
Looks similar.
However, there is a huge portion of it is domestic Chinese porn that people are uploading. Right?
That's much newer. That was never the case in the
It's
past.
definitely a new thing.
It's a new thing.
But it's there.
Sure.
Right? And so they have conduits, obviously, people that are uploading this, and people will pay for it, or they'll be part of this whole gambling binge thing.
You don't want to be caught manufacturing porn in China. That's a huge offense.
So this is where I want to get into the law.
Be messed up. You'll go to jail for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so this is where I want to get into the law.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people are not going to suffer legal consequence for consuming porn in China. Despite the law, almost everyone does it, right?
Yeah.
But if you are creating the porn, although there are massive pimps and human traffickers that do that in China,
Sure.
it's all over the place.
Yeah.
If they are not paying off the right people, or they don't know the right officials, because they have to know officials if they're doing this, by the way. And then they get shut down. They'll basically, the Chinese government will go after a token person and show them.
They'll go after the actual woman or man in the porn.
Shame them, But the manufacturers as well, they'll go after a token person to show people that, hey, don't do this ever again.
Sure.
I'll kick your ass, basically, right? So the way that the Xi Jinping government has been going is that, it's been a gray area the whole time. It's been illegal, but everyone uses it. Everyone does it. It's whatever. It's almost a joke. You talk about it on the street, you're not going to jail.
Sure.
Right? You could show someone nothing's going to happen. But the Xi Jinping government's trying to go back to traditional Chinese values, which is kind of ridiculous because it has nothing to do with Chinese values. It's all about being conservative, right? So they're trying to get rid of porn again. There's another big crackdown on this porn and the morality of society, right? So what they're done is, I don't know if you guys have heard about this crazy tinfoil stuff, but people were talking about these mind control helmet things that they're using on soldiers, a development.
Oh yeah, they were
right?
talking about
it's
that.
Ridiculous
Yes,
stuff, right?
nonsense.
But the same kind of technology is now being repurposed to combat porn. Right.
Yeah.
So I want you to go. Oh, you have the first slide up here.
Yeah. Well, before we even continue with that,
Sure.
I have to talk a little bit more about how porn was traditionally accessed in China.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, way back in the day.
When I first got there, there'd be these hidden DVD shops. Where it was weird because I stumbled across this a couple of times. First of all, DVDs in China, you can't buy original DVDs and movies because they were never officially released in China, right? You don't have New Line Cinema or whatever or Universal releasing a DVD at that time.
Yes.
Okay? Because they're not allowed in the market. So all the DVDs, all the VCDs, specifically VCDs back then, were pirated.
Yes.
Okay? Pretty much all of the pornography came from Japan. It was pirated Japanese pornography.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, what you do is, when you'd go into these markets like in Dongmen or whatever, they'd have a kind of an area where they would have some random DVDs, nothing really illegal, nothing that's really, some places you'd be able to just buy pirated DVDs. They were out in the open, okay? But they'd always have a back room or a curtain or something where if you asked for certain things, they'd get you into this fake door or this fake place and it was just filled with either pornography or random other stuff that's just not allowed to be watched or whatever in China.
They would have put those curtains behind in Qingren Yongping because sex toys are fully legal in China. So you have stalls all over China for that. And then they would hide DVDs and porn back there too.
I mean, it was dodgy.
Transform though.
All the foreigners that live there know about this because you'd want to go buy DVDs to watch, right?
Yes.
This is back before the internet streaming, before Netflix and before everything, right? Even before VPNs when I was there. So what people would do is it's like you're doing a drug deal or something. They take you in up the stairs, the back room, go up into this hidden thing and you'd walk into this, looks like a normal, I don't know, old Blockbuster almost. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
rows
like
and
a- like a
rows.
weird adult
I've got
movie
footage
store.
of it. I've got
Yeah.
footage of this stuff. I'll show it sometime. But you walk in there, it's all hidden. It's behind closed doors, and you have to
Yes.
like kind of be taken up there.
That's right.
They suss you out, make sure you're not like a cop or something.
Yeah.
Open it up, and there you could go buy whatever movie you
Yes.
want to watch, and you pay the 10 RMB of DVD or whatever, and then you
Right.
walk out. It's kind of bizarre, but that's how pornography was usually distributed, was through like these pirated VCDs
That's correct.
and that kind of thing.
So in the internet era, when I honestly, it just became such a gray area that no one gave a shit.
Yeah.
Right. So like, let's fast forward back to Xi Jinping era. Now it's got to be moral society. Chinese people
Yeah,
are
but
moral.
if you did try to access any pornography online in a Wang bar, in an internet
Yeah.
bar, remember with your ID connected to it, you're screwed.
Yes, of
You're
course.
screwed.
With your ID card attached to it.
Yeah.
But outside of a Wang Ba, then you're going to be
The
fine.
thing is, they also started to do things like, previously you could just get a SIM card for your phone without your ID
Yes,
attached to your
that's
passport.
true.
Then they changed that. So now
Yeah.
everything you access through your mobile internet is now connected to you as
I
well.
will. I just want to make it a very important distinction. I've never heard of someone getting busted with their ID for looking at porn on their phone in
Sure.
China forever. And
Yeah.
every single person looks at it.
Yeah.
Every man.
I mean, every man does find a way to look at it.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, it's just like every official is corrupt.
Correct.
They do it.
They do
when
do it,
there's
for
an
sure.
opportunity.
When there's
and
an
when they
opportunity.
decide that they're going to hit someone for something, that's an easy
Or to
target.
make an example.
Yeah, it's
Right.
an easy target.
So yeah, back to fast forward to this. So they have this. This is fascinating, actually. You know the Wumao, the paid internet trolls.
Yeah.
So you have paid internet trolls that go out there to shift narrative, to not talk bad about the Chinese government, to make
Yep.
sure that people are staying on topic and not being like Xi Jinping's bad, Xi Jinping is bad, blah blah.
Yeah.
And then also to go out there and attack people that say, "Oh, I don't like this Chinese government." They're like, "Oh, you're racist," that kind
Sure,
of stuff. These are
sure.
paid internet trolls. Actually,
Yeah.
a lot of them are in the PLA.
Yep.
A lot of the People's Liberation Army, and a lot of them are actually prisoners,
Sure.
which we covered in depth,
Yeah.
that are not really getting paid to do it. It's just they're spamming copy paste things, kind of like those gold farmers in World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
They used to take
exactly,
Prisoners
yeah.
to do that. So there's another sect of the government
Mm-hmm.
that I shouldn't say sect, another part of the government department.
Go with the sect if you want.
Yeah, a department of the government, and their job is to remove porn off the internet, right?
Yeah.
And of course, this is hard to stamp out. It's just
Yeah.
everywhere, right? So they go and they remove the website, they shut down the DNS, they do all that kind of stuff, and then it'll pop up somewhere else.
Yeah.
So they thought, what if we have to pay humans to do this?
Yeah.
Then how the hell are we going to get on top of this? Like the
Yeah.
people are they're actually a quote in the study is that the officials are tired.
Yeah.
They're tired of sitting there looking at porn.
Yeah.
Right? Because they have to go through all day and they just never stop it.
They're just
right?
putting out fires. They find porn
Yes.
pops up here, then they censor it.
It's an
and they find
impossible
it there.
battle.
Remember, they tried to roll out, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, and this is also probably early days, probably 2007-ish, 2009 at the latest, but they tried to roll out some or other software that would run on every single computer in
Yeah,
China.
I remember that. Yeah.
And
yeah, yeah.
it was supposed to just censor porn completely,
Yeah.
get rid of it, but
Yeah.
it was so bad that it was doing things like if people try to look at Garfield because
Yeah.
of the skin,
Yeah.
the color of
you brought
Garfield.
that in. I remember
yeah,
that.
remember that? Because the
Yeah.
color of his fur or whatever, it
Yes.
censored Garfield, it censored cartoons, it censored everything because it
Everything.
was just looking for skin
Skin
tones.
tones.
Yeah.
So this is actually related to that.
Right.
So the system that they set up was, what if we use machine learning
Yeah.
and we get people's brainwaves to tell us what is porn and what is not, right?
Yeah.
So what they did was they hooked up this kind of this mind control hat. And again, that's kind of it's not our clickbait, that's what they were calling it.
Yeah.
This mind control hat, what it does is it monitors brainwaves.
Yeah,
right?
this is old technology.
Old tech, right?
Yeah.
So what they would do is they would take a user,
Mm-hmm.
and some of these were the people that worked in this government department, but then the study was using volunteers. Right?
Sure.
And this is in Beijing
So
Jiaotong
what we
University.
have over here is an example, the actual example from this
Correct.
study.
Yes. So they wear this, and they would show them images.
Yes.
For example, this is from the study. You look on the right, there's a picture of people crossing the road in the U.S.
Yeah.
On the left, you have, I don't know, some Korean porn thing.
Yeah.
So what they would do is they would monitor the brainwaves. Instead of having a computer saying, that's a skin tone of porn, that's a nipple color,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's a whatever. The person would raise their eyebrow, right, slightly, or their brainwaves would tell
Yeah, it'd be a brainwave
the
thing,
computer,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
right, whether or not it's porn.
Yeah.
And therefore, the computer's not making the decision anymore, a human being did.
Yeah.
What that does is that goes into code, and they can actually code algorithms based on human interaction instead of skin tones or bitmaps.
Right.
So what the problem was, there's a huge hiccup, was that this study was trying to help the Chinese government, right? Trying to help this censorship board. It's a government censorship board.
Yeah.
And obviously get funding for their research.
Yeah.
But in the process, to get approved for the research, the Chinese government said that all of the pornographic images had to be censored in the study.
So what you're seeing here is actual picture from the study. So the porn that they were watching or the pornography that they were seeing
It was redacted.
is censored.
Yeah.
So how's it going to be accurate then?
I know.
How are you going to know?
So
It's typical Chabador.
Chabador, right?
Yeah.
So the researchers in
Yeah.
Beijing Jiaotong University, I was reading, they were very angry. They're like,
Yeah.
they were just frustrated as hell. They're like, how is this study going to be accurate?
Yeah.
If we have to show censored, redacted porn,
Yeah.
how is a human brain going to, like, eventually they're just going to get used to this,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be titillating anymore,
Yeah,
or
sure.
something else is going to happen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they could not get past the government censorship board, even for a government-sponsored study in the university, right?
Yeah.
So it's some weird shit going on here.
Yeah.
But they had to remove the identity and the nudity, right? So you couldn't even like look at a face or something properly,
Sure.
right? So they had these people. They had both men and women volunteer for this, but the results were only focusing on men's what's it called, reactions. Mm-hmm. So there were some women in China like, oh, what about us?
Sure.
Anyway, so what they would do is again they would you go to the next slide.
There's no next slide. It's just
Okay,
these,
I'm sorry.
these
Oh,
two.
just go. Yeah, I meant to play the
Previous.
I meant to play the Wang Ba footage.
Okay, all right, yeah.
So the study's kind of just not going to go anywhere,
Yeah.
I don't think. But what it did show me, and the conclusion of this for me, was that China's definitely taking a hardline approach to pornography. Yet again, instead of facing human trafficking, illegal prostitution that deals with human trafficking, corruption, pollution, crime.
Look, it's a
traffic.
huge issue in China.
Right.
And yeah, of course, they always try to have this outward image for the rest of the world that China's pure and...
Do you know what the logic is? And this is logic. This is the easiest way I can explain this before we move on. Is the government thinks that, hey, if we're focused on an issue like this domestically, and then the outside world sees that we're focused on such a petty issue like this, then it's such utopia that we can focus on something like this.
And people will think China,
no
the
drugs,
Chinese
there's no
society
porn.
is
Yeah.
so pure
Yeah.
that even pornography is not allowed. What they don't realize is that I've never seen openly so much prostitution and human trafficking and all the other terrible things that go along with it. In my entire life, you get hounded when you go to a hotel in many places in China.
Yeah.
We've done videos about this, all the prostitute cards, all the stickers advertising, whatever. I've done plenty of videos about this. We've done videos about this. You've done videos about it. It's a real big issue. But as far as the rest of the world is concerned, oh, they don't even allow pornography? Wow, they're so clean and pure.
It's this weird like mental deflection.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so
Yeah, go on.
what you can see in the background here, by the way, is a footage I took a long time ago, good number of years ago. But this is kind of what you'd expect the entrance to an internet cafe to look like.
Yeah,
If you can
well said.
read the entrance up there, it says Wang Ba. Okay. Thought we'd
Wang
give
Ba Dan.
yeah no, and Wang just means net, like a zhuzhu wang, like a spider web. So
Yeah.
it's basically a web, just like the web.
Yeah.
And bar just means a bar.
Yeah.
Basically, you can
It's
have a
organization of a word.
A Joe bar is a alcohol bar. In fact, there's a really clever name that some bar had in Shenzhen. It was 98.
Oh, Joba.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. I
Pretty
like
clever.
that,
So it's Club 98,
Yeah.
which just means Joe bar. Yeah, it was kind of cool. Anyway, so that's where you'd go in. This, by the way, is a more upmarket one, I'd say.
Oh yeah. That's
Okay,
way
this is
better.
not what was in that particular one. They're normally real dingy and kind of gross most of the time. But this is what goes on. People sitting there playing games mostly and...
watching movies.
Yeah.
They have all these pirated movies, data bank that you can go watch.
Yeah. For those of you wondering how this all operates, every time you turn the computer on, it wipes the hard drive and it reinstalls the OS. It uses like a kind of a Norton Ghost image for those of you who know what that's all about. But basically,
Like Ghost.
yeah, so it doesn't actually do an installation. It just takes an image and it puts the new image on the hard drive. So it starts fresh.
They do that so people can log into their QQ and stuff and not stay logged in.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
yeah.
So when you turn the computer off, next time it's turned on, everything gets wiped.
That's right.
But of course, when you log in with your username and stuff, there's a webcam and everything. It ties it to your ID, and whatever you do then is going to be online.
That's right.
And it's going to be tracked.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful what you do there.
Yes.
Now, there's a reason why these exist in China. And you have to remember that in China, it's very different to the West, okay?
Yeah.
people don't generally have a computer in their house. Okay, of course, rich people have laptops and so on and so forth. It's not like people don't have computers, but the way the family structures work and the way that housing works in China is people usually live in a very small apartment, and they live with their parents. They live with their parents-in-law if they're married. So you've got grandparents in the house, you've got maybe kids in the house, maybe you've got, your parents and your grandparents and you. There's a lot of people in the house. You don't get privacy. No. Okay, so these internet cafes are a way specifically for young people to just get out of the house, to get away from the family. They're constantly bothering them, looking over their shoulder, trying to force feed them rice and chicken or whatever all the time. All the time, like,吃多一点吧, 吃多一点. You have no idea how. Yeah, it's so annoying. So, they get, like you can see here, I filmed these dudes eating their instant noodles. A lot of the Wang bars are kind of cool. You can buy the instant noodles at the front desk.
And they'll heat them up for you.
Yeah, you can buy beer, you can do whatever.
It's actually a really, really, really bad, horrible, dirty copy of the Wang bars in Korea.
Yeah.
Which are really upmarket and nice and have restaurants inside and food gets delivered to you.
Yeah.
The ones in China typically are
they're filthy. They're filthy, but it's cool because you get away from your family. Yeah. You get to sit there. You can eat your meals. You can go to the toilet. They've got toilets in there that are disgusting.
Oh my, Wangba toilets. Dude, truck stop toilets that we talked about, like on the road in China? Wangba toilets are only slightly better.
Yeah, because they're kind of indoors and they flush.
Yeah, they're not just a hole.
I cannot forget the first time when I was living in that red light district, I used to go to this internet cafe. It was the only way I could get internet, right, back then. Yeah. And I went to the toilet there. It's all squat toilets. And somebody had taken a dump and obviously dipped their finger in feces and written a sentence in shit.
Why does that
on
not
the wall.
surprise me at a Wangba?
If
it was going to happen, it would be at a Wangba.
Yeah, it was on the wall or it was on the door or something. So that when you use the toilet, you can see a message somebody had wrote.
But it was in the Wangba.
Yeah, in their own feces. Yeah, they wrote it was disgusting.
What did it say?
I couldn't read Chinese at that point.
Early, yeah.
It was written in Chinese, so it was just kind of gross. Anyway, that's Wangbas. But now you get the idea of why they're so popular is because it's the only escape to get away from family. But the problem is, Wangbas have become like a real problem for addiction.
Yes, internet addiction.
Yeah, people get addicted to, and I guess the government's now trying to implement like, quotas on how many hours you can use?
I'm just laughing because of the archaic approach they took before the quotas, like shock therapy.
Yeah, they used to do shock therapy and stuff. It's ridiculous.
It's like some girls died.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It was really messed up.
No, it was messed up. And the fact of the matter is, the teenagers and stuff will disappear for weeks in a Wangba.
And they'll shit in buckets.
Yeah.
Like, because they don't want to stop. Like, it turns into massive addiction. Obviously, it's not like it's a widespread problem. It's not everyone, but there's certain people that get addicted like drugs.
Yeah, it is.
Now, by the way, huge drug trade inside of a lot of these Wangbas, the dodgy ones, big illicit drug trade and prostitute trade in there.
Yeah, it's basically a weird...
The den of sin.
It's a weird little place to go hang out, basically. And to varying degrees, of course. You get the disgusting, dodgy ones. And like this one that you're looking at now is pretty normal. Yeah. It's this one where I filmed it had glass doors opening to the street, so you can't get up to anything dodgy
so you're not
in
buying ketamine and stuff.
No, of course not.
The ones I used to see, people were buying ketamine.
Yeah, obviously. Like it is a weird place, but... Yeah. Anyway, we thought we'd introduce you to this whole Wangba culture because it is very much related to this whole mind reading.
It's one of those things one of those things that got way less popular, but they're still there.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're definitely less popular when we first moved.
Yeah. I mean,
that was ubiquitous.
Yeah, but it depends on the area you're in.
It does. Like when I moved up north, everyone went to the Wangbas.
Yeah.
Everyone went to the public showers as well because they didn't have showers in their home.
Yeah.
Right? So you go to the public shower, you'd go to the Wangba, you don't have a computer at home.
Yeah, that's that. We didn't have that in the South, the public shower thing.
Yeah, in the South, I would see less normal people going to the Wangba, if that makes sense. Up north, it was normal people. Normal people would go to the Wangba. Girls would go to the Wangba.
Sure.
In the South, I would see more of the certain type of people that would go to the Wangba. Sure. Either kind of scummy criminal
Shamata go to the Wangba.
Shamata's
they love the Wangba,
the Wangba is their scene, and also those like factory clubs.
Yeah.
They love this. The Anchor beer. 30 Anchor fake beers that are going to poison them.
Yes.
But they're chugging those down.
Of course.
Shamata were the only people that were really nice to me in the clubs and bars when I first moved to China, so my heart goes out to them.
No, I like
They
it.
welcome me, because I'm an outsider too.
Sure. Yeah. Anyway, the thing is, it's normally when you move out of the big posh city centers.
Yeah.
So in Shenzhen, if you went into the urban villages, for instance, you would find Wangba there.
Yeah.
If you went further out, like into Longhua or one of the outlying Buji or one of those areas,
Yes.
Wangbas are everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it is
You're right. It depends on the area.
depends on the area and the demographic in that area.
I would say the sprawl, like urban sprawl outside of a major city, Wangbas are everywhere.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess that's our soft power hour. Are we going to
I think
hit
that was
some,
interesting. I think people, you might have learned something there.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully we didn't bore you.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Brian Kane, how similar is what? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you still have a few here.
PowerShift says, thank goodness for all the CCPs monitoring the younger generation sitting around bopping their baloney all day. How else would they overcome their population crisis?
Yeah.
Dylan, friend of the channel, says, after watching your video, C-Milk, let me remind everyone that China is ranked below Saudi Arabia for women's rights. And that's actually true.
Didn't they just get voted as the Women's
Yes, in
Rights
the UN.
Council in the UN or something?
Yeah.
What is wrong with the United Nations?
The UN, by the way, I'm gonna stand for NATO.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say the UN sucks.
It's so China's on the UN Human Rights Council.
What are you doing?
Yeah, come on.
Anyway.
It's like a joke.
Yes, it is.
Is it like a trick? Are they like getting
It's
all the
a trick.
They get all the like worst offenders and like they this is the Human Rights Council, but meanwhile what it is everyone that's part of it are the worst offenders of human rights.
Because if we keep them there in the leadership, then we can keep an eye on them.
No,
What
maybe
are you doing?
I don't know, but it's just so bizarre that they put them on.
Can
there.
I actually read the UN Human Rights Council?
Sure, may as well since we're here doing
members.
geopolitics this time.
Hey, just listen to this, okay?
Okay.
Election of the Human Rights Council is 7 in 2020, okay?
Okay.
You ready for this? So this is for human rights.
Human rights.
Okay.
Which countries are now going to be the overseers of human rights in the world?
Cote d'Ivoire, which I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough about. Gabon.
Wow.
So just out of curiosity, let me just pull up.
Okay.
So Gabon is in Africa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to pull up like a Freedom House report. It ranks 21 points out of 100 for Freedom House. So that's bottom 5% of the world.
Well, let's just quickly rattle through
Malawi,
these.
Senegal, China, Nepal, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, another dictatorship, Russia, Ukraine,
Okay.
Bolivia, Cuba, Mexico, France, UK, and Ireland. Okay, that's candidates to the election.
Okay. The current members
The current members are Angola, one of the least free countries in Africa.
I know a lot about Angola, yeah.
Burkina Faso, Cameroon, the Democratic Republic of Congo,
Well, I mean, there's nothing like civil war and cutting people to pieces that's... Yeah.
Eritrea, which is the North Korea of Africa.
Yep.
You can barely get in and out.
Sure.
Nigeria, Senegal, Somalia, not Somaliland, Somalia.
Yeah.
The failed state.
Sure.
Togo, Afghanistan, Bahrain, the kingdom of Bahrain, the dictatorship monarchy of Bahrain. Bangladesh, Fiji, India, Nepal, Pakistan, Philippines, Qatar, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Ukraine, Argentina, Bahamas, Chile, Mexico, Peru, Uruguay, Australia, Austria, Denmark, Italy, and Spain. So there's some real human rights countries in there.
It's bizarre. I mean, like I said, is this a list of human rights offenders?
Some of them. You know what I mean? Like half of them.
Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is.
Just
the UN is a joke.
Apparently. Just so I don't skip any here for the pre-show ones. How thank goodness that okay. Angry Dragon says a mind reading machine. Cue the tinfoil hat.
Sure.
But Brian Kane says how similar is what China doing to Tibet compared to what's going on in Xinjiang? Quite similar, except for the camps. Xinjiang was set up with the camps. Xinjiang's oppression has always been there, but it's more recent in terms of severity. Tibet was an older thing. It's been persecuted since day one.
Yep.
Will Smith slapping Xi Jinping says, anyone interested in traditional Chinese martial arts? I have a pretty extensive playlist that will blow your mind. It's Sifu Crazy Locks.
Okay,
Give
sweet.
himself a plug. Brian Kane, my first question is badly worded. I was wondering about the Uyghur genocide compared to the damage it is doing to the culture and religion of Tibet. Very similar.
Yeah, that's very similar.
Radiohead Sea Milk today? No. Winston won't let me hit the radio rock intro.
No.
Shays says, thanks, I did that a lot in the last
Oh, you
show.
did?
People loved it.
Good, I'm glad they loved
super
it.
chats for that.
Oh, nice.
Lightseeker says, hey, Jonty, what does the CCP do to PRC GDP numbers?
Great.
Inflate.
Inflate instead of great. All right, let's move on to our next section, shall we?
Yes.
Which is we're going to do Wumao Corner, where we talk about what the weird Wumao are up to recently. The haters and the various, people that really don't like us very much or just don't like the world unless it's all about China.
Or
Which
Russia,
reminds me.
Is that my gold?
What the hell are you?
I'm a leprechaun,
Communist
me
leprechaun.
dear.
careful about him, by the way.
Why?
He's scary.
Oh, yeah,
He-
leprechauns.
Yeah, the guy, I heard the communist leprechaun will grind your bones into powder or something. What did he say?
Yeah, I can't remember. Smash you to
Smash your bones to the bone.
Yeah, smash you to the bone.
Yeah.
Communist leprechaun. Such a joke. We're coming for you. Anyway.
No, we're not coming for you
No, we're not coming for you.
at all.
No, we're not coming for you. Just you wait. We're not coming for you.
We're absolutely not coming for you.
Yeah.
Not
So,
interested in coming for you.
jeez, when you put it that
I say
way.
on.
Anyway, 4 doesn't matter. Anyway, let's move on.
Four scored 7
So,
years ago.
what are we talking about in Wumao Corner?
Stab you in the knee. Communist leprechaun will stab you in the knee.
He'll stab you in the knee. Got to watch out for him. Yeah, because he's all the way down there. Anyway, guys, so back to reality here. Why have you've got this up for Wumao Corner?
Just because in the beginning when I was telling people about the name change, and by the way, I'm glad I did this. Like literally half the people in the chat don't understand why this is called the China Show now, because it was beginning.
Right. Yeah,
Now
we've
that we're
rebranded.
here, we're called the China Show now. Reason being very simple. ADV podcast that makes sense. We're on motorcycles for ADV China.
Yeah,
our motorcycle
adventure.
By the way, want to clear this up. Some people are confused. They're like, "Where's ADV China?" ADV China is still a channel. Go
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah.
It's our motorcycle show.
And it's like at least once a month we've got a thing of us
Once or
riding
twice, yeah.
around. Yeah, go take a look. We're out there still.
So this is our live show.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of calling it ADV podcast, which has nothing to do with China, we figured why not call it the China Show? Because that's what everyone keeps calling it. They're like, "Hey, do you watch that? What is that called? What is that? That China show?"
Yeah.
Right? Hey, it's
There we
the
go.
China Show.
The China
right?
Show.
We want to explain something massively new that we're about to do.
Yeah.
All the people. I'm going to ask you rhetorically. All the people that are like, "Come on, you got to do more streams. This is not once a
Right.
week is not enough."
How is this Wumao Corner?
It's not Wumao Corner.
Okay, so it's
This
not.
is in between Wumao Corner.
So I've already run the thing for Wumao
Just do
Corner.
it again later.
Okay, fine.
Double Wumao. Not yet. We're not done.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
Where's
yeah.
the slides with the patron?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, we decided to up our game. We have to apologize. We have a patron for ADV Podcast, and we've neglected it.
yeah, I mean we don't.
As in, by neglected,
We still
didn't
answer all your
We didn't
questions.
neglect it. We just we could have been adding more value. We've decided we're going to do that now.
Yes. So we're adding a whole new show. And this is not some cop out like, "Oh, we're gonna hang out and do when people are like, we're gonna have a hangout session once a month. No, this is not only a hangout session. This is a full on another show.
Yeah.
So you know how we have the China Show ADV podcast
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Nothing's going to change.
Nothing's going anywhere. Don't say, "Oh, I gotta sign up to Patreon to go see it." Nope, you don't have to do shit.
Yeah. It's not going anywhere.
Every Friday we're still here. It's exactly the same time, 5 p.m. Depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Same time. We're not going anywhere, but we're adding another show.
Yes.
Called Xiaoban Ho. And Xiaoban Ho. Wait, stop. So I want to explain all the patron tiers. First one, you still get all the stuff on Patreon that you normally did.
Yeah, so you get to see the Yamcha, like
all
after
that
it's
stuff,
been cut.
uncut, no, blah blah. The next tier is you can send us a message. So remember, I go there every other day. Maybe I'll do it every day now.
Yeah.
And answer your messages that you send to the inbox.
Sure.
And that could be about anything. What were we doing the other day? Helping a guy find out if his girlfriend is real or not that he met online. That kind of stuff. You can ask us questions for help.
Spoiler, she wasn't.
To this day, only one was.
Yes.
We're talking about out of what 20?
Yeah, when people get on those Asian
Yeah.
friend finder or Asian
kind of
dating
stuff.
site type things, it's always like some fake, picture that they've taken off the internet, or they hire like a model or something, and then they charge them to talk to them and send them messages, and it's always some
It's
rubbish.
always what it is, and I'll always find out and then confront them, which is very fun,
Yeah.
to be honest. But we always keep you anonymous,
Sure.
of course.
Sure.
But it's not just that. It's people that just want to talk to us about video games. You can talk to us about life. You have a question about China.
Yeah.
Anything you want. It's anonymous. You can talk to us there.
Yeah. This is kind of like a joint thing. You know, we do have our own
It is.
personal
No,
stuff.
it's both
This
of us.
is-
We sit next to each other.
Yeah, this is our, you know, if you want to get a hold of us type thing. And
Yes.
then, but now the next tier is the important one.
That's our new show.
Yeah.
And it is called Xiaoban Ho. So I want you to go to the next slide so people can actually see what it is.
Okay.
And I think you guys will love this. We love the name.
Yeah.
Xiaoban Ho is our new... Oh, we'll come back to that.
Okay, I'll come back to
just
that
for a couple legends out there.
Yeah, where is the... There we go.
So Xiaoban Ho is our new show.
Yeah.
And this is going to be on Patreon. And the reason we're doing this is going to be uncensored.
Yeah.
It's not going to be... It's really just going to be completely uncensored, right?
Sure.
And it's a full-on show. It's going to be topical. It's not just, hey, ask us questions. But you will be able to ask us any questions throughout the entire show. You don't need super chats. You don't need anything like that,
Sure.
right? And we're going to have that every single Monday at the same time as usual.
Yep.
And it will be a topic about, like, we have a freaking
really funny one.
dinger. It's going to be more, I'm going to say it'll probably be a little bit more casual.
Yeah.
And more about stuff, fun
stuff. Maybe
stuff.
not as China focused as
Yeah.
the China show.
Yes. It's like if you want to talk about other stuff, it'll probably still have a pretty big China focus, but there's still a lot of stuff to talk about. And it's going to be stuff like deep lore stuff.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It'll be, you just came across an absolute,
it's just general.
I mean, we have to tease it at least next show.
Yeah.
Because it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the way this will work is that if you sign up for the Xiaoban Ho tier, it's a live stream.
Yeah.
And it's only on Patreon, right?
Yeah.
So you'll go on Patreon, it'll actually pop up.
Yeah,
at that
it'll
time,
notify you. Yeah.
But it'll stay up afterwards. You don't have to be there at that time.
Yeah, you can watch it later.
You watch it later, and it'll stay up on the Patreon for that tier, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in the Xiaoban Ho tier, by the way, what does Xiaoban Ho mean?
It means after work.
After work.
Chila time is what we're saying. In Africa, Chila means like knock off time.
Right.
It means get off work. And in fact, remember the rapist school I used to work for?
Yes.
So after the ad campaign that had me in it, where it was like, you know, CCVIP comes from England or whatever it was. Callan method comes from that just terrible
comes
thing.
From England.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a weird enunciation.
And I was on the billboards and everything, and then in the elevators and all that crap. Anyway, after that, they hired a more professional advertising team, and they like hired proper models and actors.
Yeah.
And they had this whole ad campaign, and it was like Xiaoban Ho, Shamu Jian, which means like after work, I'll meet you at Sun Moon training center or whatever. And they had like a handsome dude, and he's like talking to a girl, and you know, like gives her. I don't know what he was doing, but the whole point was he was like, Xiaoban Ho, Shamu Jian. Then he'd go to someone else and be like a pretty girl saying to a guy, hey, Xiaoban Ho, Shamu Jian. So it's like, after work, we're going to meet there.
That's correct.
So the whole idea of this is kind of like an after-hours show. It's kind of like after work, Chila time, knock-off time. What else do you say to get off work? What do you normally say?
I don't know. We don't just say see you after work, you know, hang out after work.
After-work show?
Yeah, but anyway.
You don't have something interesting to say?
No, can you stop hitting the table? Everyone's going to...
What is
Everyone's
it?
going to die of
seriously,
headphones.
like knock-off time or, you know, there's got to be...
Knock-off time sounds very suggestive.
What, like you're going to kill someone?
No.
Okay, so you knock someone
in a
off.
Weird
no,
place.
but that's a...
I was thinking more of a
what?
smack the baloney type
Okay,
situation.
whatever.
You know,
yeah, maybe.
hit the plane.
That's where your mind is.
You want to call the show Hit the Plane.
Yeah, hit the plane. Yeah.
Look that up.
Shoot the plane, actually.
Shoot the plane. Anyway.
No, wait, but there's got to be something else that you say in America.
Can I please
Just
talk
what do you
about this
say?
show?
What do you say?
We say after work.
That's it.
Yeah.
So Americans everywhere. The only
I'm
thing
waiting for the chat here.
They only ever say like, okay, it's after work time.
I know, but that's
What do you like? You work in your corporate job.
Yeah. Why is it going to be corporate?
Or, okay, you're packing boxes.
Okay.
You're doing something.
Sure.
And it's like, it ticks over 5.
Work's over. Time to go home.
Work's over.
After work. Happy
you
hour. Happy hour, yeah.
I mean, like, you don't have a...
Yeah, it is called happy hour. No, it is called, even outside of drinking context.
Really?
Yes,
Happy hour?
It is happy hour. That's
Okay.
true. Now, thank you for confirming that. That's originally what it is.
Okay, it's called happy hour.
That's correct. That's where it comes from.
Now you can go home.
Because you go to the
Home,
bar.
you don't say like home time. That's more like school.
Why do you care about this?
I just want something interesting to say so we can compare it.
Happy hour. After hours. After hours. We say after hours.
Clock out. Yeah, you can say that. But you don't say like when it hits 5 p.m., you don't say, oh, after hours.
It's like you're gaslighting me for something I don't give a shit about.
No, when you finish work, everybody's got a way to say like, it's like it's a celebration.
Okay.
It's a celebration.
You know what it's
Work's
called?
over.
It's called Xiaoban Ho.
Yeah.
And Xiaoban Ho is our our
Okay.
show. I want to make sure that people don't understand it's not some supplemental thing. It is a whole nother show.
Yeah, it's completely different to the China show.
Yeah, but it is a whole nother show. It's not us sitting in a chair looking, saying, please ask us questions. We have a structured topic. It's all the stuff we care about outside of this show.
Sure.
In fact, I think a little birdie told me that we might be playing some knockoff Chinese video games, things like that.
Yeah. We got a lot of cool stuff.
There's all kinds of good stuff that we're going to do. I will say the first episode is going to be called Thank You, Russia. We'll get into that why that is later.
Yes.
But just I want you to know the the link is in the description. Consider it if you want to.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, it's no big deal. We'll still be here every Friday. Nothing has changed. We're just added a completely
new show.
Yeah.
We'll show you snippets every once in a while.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you miss it or you're not part of that tier, we'll definitely show.
There is one thing that we have to ask because we have a couple of legendary.
Yeah. We didn't even plan on this.
Yeah, we have a couple of legendary. Supporters on our Patreon. We want to shout you guys out each show here on the China Show in a creative and a special way.
Yeah.
But we're going to reach out to you. We're going to ask you how you want to be shouted out because we don't want to just shout out your name in case you don't want that.
Yes.
So we'll figure out like a quote or a picture or whatever. But basically, what we're saying is we're taking the China Show seriously now.
Yeah.
We're trying to add as much value as we can to the Patreon to make it worth your while.
There's a lot of you that
100%.
support us. So.
Yes, because your support means the absolute world to us.
Yes. It's the only way we could do this.
Yeah. And we're not just saying your support on Patreon, your support just watching the show.
For sure.
Every single one of you guys out there mean the world to us.
Yeah.
You've really helped us through some tough times and you're making this possible.
Yeah. And especially like with the Demon stuff, we'll get in, maybe in Shabanho or in Yemcha, we'll talk about some recent YouTube crap that's been happening.
Yeah.
But go back to Shabanho. One more thing I want to say.
Oh, yeah. Shabanho.
This starts this Monday.
Yeah, Monday. It's 4th of July.
We're actually going to have a 4th of July breakout episode. It'll be the pilot episode. I think you guys are going to have a great time. Hang out with us on 4th of July. It doesn't matter if you're American or not.
Yeah.
We're going to have a great time. It's going to be super cash.
Yeah.
Maybe crack some beverages. Maybe eat some barbecue. We'll do something fun.
It's going to be fun.
But we'll see you guys there. This is not the end of the show, by the way. This is just us reminding you that in the description or in the chat right now, go to, at least pull it up in a tab, have a look at it, see if you want
Sure.
it. We love to see you on Monday in our new show, Xiaobanho.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere with this show, though.
No, let's get back to our actual show that we're doing right now. And the Wumao corner is this.
Run the Wumao corner thing one more time.
Okay.
One more time.
This is a bit extended. I might cut this down a bit.
I like it. Oh, it is pretty long.
You know what I mean?
realized how long it was.
Yeah.
Gong Tan Dan Wan Sui.
Yeah, it's like Nimasala, Gun Kai Yang Shusuba, you know. I put in all the typical things that you would see a Wumao saying. So yes, let's take a look at this picture. What is this? This is a sporting event. Okay. Now, I got to ask you something, C-Milk. What is the one thing that China hates about sporting events, especially, international sporting events? Because within the borders of China, they have complete control, right?
Yes.
So, what?
The chat, QAnon shaman, meet the CCP shaman.
Kind of looks that way, yeah.
This guy went all in.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, good. Sorry.
So, I mean, like, when there's an international, like, football match or something, right? And China participates.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that happens is they lose.
Yes.
When it comes to football. Okay.
Before anyone says that's unfair, I had two Chinese friends. They're huge football fans.
Yeah.
I'm a football fan. Soccer fans for Americans.
Yeah.
And they were big China supporters, obviously, but they said nothing but shit. They're like, we have the worst team in the world.
They have the worst football team.
Yeah. And it's weird because they can throw money at it all day.
I think, was it a South Korean or Japanese high school football team beat them? You know? And this is it's bad. And they've thrown so much money at like international coaches, but for some reason, they just suck so hard.
They're so bad.
When it comes to football. I know. It's not like they don't have the budget.
No,
and you'd
look
expect,
how well they do in the Olympics.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. But again, I've spoken about this in the past. I think it's down to the difference between individual sports and team sports. The Chinese,
I agree.
Because of the competitive nature,
they excel at individual sports.
Yeah, the competitive nature of the educational system and the way they train and everything, it's difficult for team sports to do well in China.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I'm saying though is when there's let's say a basketball thing, they're usually better at that because most of the basketball players are foreign, you know, you find in China, which nothing wrong with that. No, nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
Oh, unless you got Yao Ming, who's a good player.
Oh, you're talking about NBA players.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of Asian players.
No, I'm talking about Chinese CBA players.
Oh, CBA players. Yeah,
They hire lots of foreigners.
Yeah, lots of foreigners. You made it sound like they're all foreign.
No, not all of them.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is whenever there's a big international match, just like what's happened in Australia, like this last couple of days, is you get people like Drew Pavlu going in there and unraveling a free Tibet or stop the Uyghur genocide or, like Taiwan is
number one
is not China or whatever. And China hates that.
Oh my gosh.
If anyone tried to do that within the borders of China, they'd be arrested and it would be shut down immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But, because of free speech laws around the world, you usually can't stop that.
No.
Okay. Yeah, security will take people away for disrupting the match or whatever the case. Yeah. But at the same time, it doesn't stop people from unfurling a banner or wearing a T-shirt or something, which China hates.
You're right.
Okay. So what have they done to combat this now?
So they've actually legislated a law. I shouldn't say legislate. It's like an American term.
Yeah.
They made a law.
Yeah, they just made a law.
They made a law to make it illegal in international competitions involving China to say anything bad about China. And it's so vague, it actually covers like China's involvement with Russia and Ukraine. China, Xi Jinping looking like Winnie the Pooh. Anything that can be deemed unpatriotic is now illegal. So what they're trying to do is make it a law and try it a law in China so that internationally, if someone wants to host an event with China in it, that they have to follow China's law.
Yeah.
So if you go to an event, which is honestly already happening in places like Australia.
Yeah.
If you go to an international sporting event, if you booed the national anthem of China, if you held up a free Tibet, free Xinjiang, like Google Uyghurs, stop China's human rights abuses, China's an imperialist power, any of this stuff. Then you would be thrown out and actually potentially be legally culpable for this. Right?
Sure. So they basically want countries to enforce their own laws.
How petty is that?
Yeah. Otherwise, we're not coming to your party.
Isn't that insane? That is the most insecure shit I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, don't let anyone say anything bad about China or we're not going to participate.
I got some advice for the Chinese government. How about you just get good?
Yeah.
Then nobody will say anything bad.
Yeah.
Just get good.
Yeah, stop oppressing people and human rights atrocities and so on. Yeah, you might not have that issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, simple, right?
Yeah,
and the bullshit thing about this, like what happened with Jüri, is like all these people are like either Chinese or Taiwanese or like Uyghurs or Tibetan or whatever that go in and they get thrown out of this event. And then China will claim it's like racism.
Yeah.
Oh, it's racist for a Chinese person to go protest the Chinese government? What are you talking about?
I know. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the Wumao corner. And I guess we're going to go straight into Worldview, where we talk about what's happening in the world, specifically with regards to China. And this actually is a very important one. We've saved the best for last.
We'll do it in super big depth at another point, but we'll brush on it now.
TikTok has admitted. They have admitted that Chinese employees can have access to US data. US users' data.
Yes.
Okay.
So the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, they were actually calling that TikTok a spy app, more or less, right? And this was a thing. It was one thing to say, oh, TikTok is a bad influence. There's this kind of like weird boomer logic. Oh, TikTok bad, so ban it.
Yeah.
Which is the wrong attitude to have in my mind. I mean, I personally think it's actually really horrible for the future of mankind, like this type of fast food type of media. But that's not an issue of banning. Like it's if we live in a free country, right?
Yeah.
You don't ban something for that. So get that out of your head. But anyway, there was actually concerns and investigations going on about how much China had to do with TikTok. So they said, oh, we don't keep any user data in our country. Oh, it turns out we do. Yeah. Oh, but we don't have access to it, right? Yeah. Oh, American operations actually oversee everything, so don't worry about it. So everyone was, even me included,
kind of placated.
Slightly placated.
I never was.
I never thought it was not a risk, but at least there were things that actually happened. I spoke to people at TikTok. There were things done to mitigate some of the damage / moves operations to America. And that it placated me to a certain extent because the ball was rolling in the right direction. The issue that I had was they're still wide open. It's opaque, right? Yeah. China doesn't actually tell you what they're doing with it. And so what happened?
Well, basically, it turned out that there was a leaked internal recording of a discussion or whatever, where it turns out that people in China, so the the employees in China have had access and have been accessing American users' data for some time.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, they want to find out anything about the person, including all their personal details, their private details. And, you know, you have to also understand that the way TikTok works is when you shoot a video and stuff, there's geocaching involved in there. So they can find out your location, your full recording. Of course, the apps on your phone, it has access to your microphone, has access to your camera and all that stuff. So theoretically, they could access that too.
Yep.
It is possible.
Yep.
And of course, all your surroundings, your face, your everything you say and do on TikTok can be accessed. Pretty much anything you say and do on your phone while the app is open
Can be used against you in the court of an app of China.
So anyway, the fact of the matter is, you know, they didn't say why they were accessing this data, but you have to understand that China does this with their normal apps.
Yeah.
If there's a Uyghur human rights activist, they will then go and access their WeChat data to find out all the conversations they've been having. They'll find out their location history. They'll go and find out their family members, and they'll go and arrest their family members and stuff because that's what they do. So let's just say you've got a dissident from China who ran away from the Tiananmen Square massacre or something, living in the US, and his daughter now has TikTok.
Yeah.
They would access that information because they want to find out where they live, you know, what's going on.
It goes way more than that, though, because it's big data stuff, too.
Yeah.
It's to access market trends. It's to access location, likes, dislikes.
Yeah, of course, all of that, too.
All that stuff.
Just saying, like, the fact of the matter is, people sitting in the ByteDance headquarters in China, Chinese people, which ByteDance, by the way, is fully controlled by the Chinese government in China, has to answer 100% to them.
Don't ever let anyone tell you differently.
They answer directly to the CCP. Yeah, you have to if you're a tech company in China, especially a Chinese one. They've been accessing US user data for a long, long time.
Correct.
So now, because this leaked thing went out there and it started to ruffle some feathers, TikTok had to release a formal statement. And they said, yes, they do access. But don't worry, there's a whole lot of check boxes that they have to go through first. Internal check boxes. What does that mean?
Bullshit.
So basically, we'll let you access the user data, the US user data, if we think you're okay. If number 2, you do it on a Wednesday, and 3rd, you are just someone who says that they should access that data.
Now, let me ask you a question. Does it now make sense, guys? Do you remember that I was banned off of TikTok for posting anti-CCP videos?
Yeah.
Nothing violent, nothing pornographic,
Nope.
no bad language, nothing against TOS.
Yeah.
But I was banned permanently for posting anti-CCP videos.
Makes sense.
Does it make sense on the American TikTok?
Yeah. Oh, you want to know what's also crazy? Is that the American employees of TikTok cannot access that user data.
Oh, I had that in the notes.
Yeah.
Very important detail.
Yeah. So if you're working for TikTok here, because of American privacy laws and all that kind of crap, you can't access the user data, but Chinese employees in China can access the US private data.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No.
This company should be shut down.
It's so bad. Like, I've always been I err on the side of caution.
It's a freaking knockoff of what was it?
Musically.
Yeah.
It's a knockoff. It's like people think Douyin invented it. It's not. It was already another app.
Just
right?
bring back Musical.ly.
Yeah, just bring it and base it in the
and
US.
Vine or whatever.
Yeah, bring those and put them back in the US.
Yeah.
You don't need to use a Chinese-based company.
No.
The thing that they're so concerned with is that their algorithm is so good.
Yeah.
Because of the unfettered access to personal data that they have in China.
Yeah.
That they can't emulate it. No one can emulate the TikTok algorithm. It's too smart.
Yeah.
It's very good for retention, promotion.
Right.
And so no one can touch it. But honestly, it's a matter of national security at this point. Not just American national security, it's the world. I don't think people understand the implications of letting China have access to this. I mean, it's I'm not doom and gloom, and I'm not tinfoil hat boy.
Yeah.
I'm actually always erring on the side of facts.
Sure.
So you have to prove it to me why it's bad, right? This is now proof. This is enough.
Dude, so basically what they're saying is that if employees sitting in China, which answer directly to the CCP, want access to private US data, users' data, they can get it.
Yes.
Yeah, there are a couple of checks that they have to go through, but why not just fabricate those checks? It's super easy. You know how China works?
Yes.
So what they'll do is whatever.
Oh, dude, it's nonsense.
Yeah, whatever
it's
the
nonsense.
requirements are, they'll just find somebody who meets those requirements who then answers directly to the CCP.
This is the layers of absolute fallacy and bullshit that we like to cut through, guys. If China promises something and says that they'll do it, and then American laws are based off of that, and they're doing it fine, or GDP data, or whatever the figures come out of China. Oh, but China said it's okay. Yeah. Then you base your actions off of that. Then you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm never for massive government control or anything, but in this case, when it's a matter of national security, I'm appealing right now to the federal government in the U.S. Force ByteDance to sell to an American company.
Yeah,
you don't have to stop the app. You don't have to stop the app at all. If TikTok wants to operate in America, force it to sell to an American company with American user data here in the U.S.
Yeah,
that's it. That's as simple as that.
The Chinese Communist Party should not be accessing private US data.
No.
And employees in ByteDance in China should not be accessing private American user data anyway. There's no reason for it.
Done.
TikTok is a freaking stupid ass thing where kids dance around and do pranks or whatever crap they do.
Yes.
That's fine. So why does an employee that's working and connected to the Chinese Communist Party accessing somebody's user data? They should never, ever have to do that under no circumstances.
This has nothing to do with partisan politics. Don't bring anything like that into it. This is national security.
Yeah.
This is a unified problem that everyone is facing right now with personal data going to China, and that's wrong.
Yeah, it's just like they stole all the pregnancy DNA.
No. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. It's time for us to hit Yamcha, guys. This is the best part of the show where we just shoot the breeze, we answer your questions, we chat, the tie gets loosened, and
yeah, that's how I know to cut it. Later.
Basically, what we're going to do, guys, is those of you who are here live get to watch Yamcha. Those of you who watch it on the weekend, you get to watch Yamcha. But those of you who maybe it's now Monday or Tuesday, you're watching the show. Unfortunately, we cut it out because otherwise it'd be too long. But you can still access it if you're a patron. Even the lowest tier patrons gain full access. So anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Stay awesome. We'll catch you next time if you're one of those guys. And if not, let's head right into Yamcha.
That's right.